All right, now we're going to build on and do multiplication of fractions. So I have two examples here. One is a normal problem and one is a word problem of multiplication of fractions. Now, when we multiply fractions, we are taking part of a part. So you only have a part of something. So let's say you only have half a pizza and then you eat half of that pizza. So your piece is going to get smaller as you go along. So when you multiply fractions, you're actually taking, it's actually going smaller. And when we multiply, we always think that things get bigger. But when we take multiplication of fraction by fraction, things actually get smaller. So again, I've got some visual examples, and then we're going to do the algorithm, which is the traditional just multiplying of fractions without a diagram or a picture. So if I want to take 2/3 of a half, all right, so first thing I have written down is 2/3, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and shade two of my three pieces. So this is my part. So 2/3, okay, is now modeled. And I want to take half of that 2/3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a different colored marker and I'm going to split my diagram into half. Okay, so I have now have half of 2/3 and half of 2/3 to make my full 2/3. So if I just want half of what my red is shaded, that is this portion right here. Okay, so that is half of my 2/3. So if I count, I have two pieces, and now I count the size of my pieces. And since my diagram is broken into 6 pieces, some that are shaded, some that are not shaded, I have 6 of them. So this is 2/6 of what I have. All right. So if I do the traditional multiplication, 2/3 times a half, we multiply straight across and we get our 2/6. Okay, just like in our visual model of the problem. All right. Okay, so on example 2, we've got a word problem, and it is an area word problem. And when we find area of a rectangle or a square, we do length times width. So this is a perfect example of a word problem and multiplication of fractions. So we have Amy used a piece of fabric that measured 3/4 feet by 2/3 feet, and we want to know what the area of the fabric is. All right, so I went ahead and started off my picture and I broke it into fourths. And I'm going to go ahead and model what 3/4 would look like. So again, I'm going to shade my 3/4. Okay, and then I need to multiply it by 2/3. So I need to show what 2/3 of that portion is going to look like. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction and break it into thirds first of all. So now I have 1, 2, 3 thirds, and I'm only going to circle 2 of them. So here's 1/3 and 2/3. So just like up and above, I'm going to count my groupings of 2/3, and I have 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I count how many squares I have or rectangles I have all together in my entire visual model. And that is 12 pieces. And if we put that into lowest terms or simplify it, that is half. So she has half-foot squared piece of fabric. Again, if I want to use the algorithm, I set it up and multiply straight across. So 3/4 times 2/3, and that equals 6/12, or my 1/2. All right. All right, and that was our lesson of multiplication of fraction by fraction.